the game. You don't play to just play. Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40! Can't wait! Let's go!
And yo, what is up, y'all? What is up? And it's me, it's Key. And we got a new show for y'all. Got my girl Jury over here. It's the Hoop Dream and TD Queens. Jury, man, what is going on, man? What is going on? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I said, oh, I'm excited. I got a lot I want to talk about.
Well, of course, we are the ladies of the Sports Empire Network. And of course, we had, we can't let the guys run us. We got to have our own something for the ladies to talk about. Of course, we know our sports as well. So I appreciate y'all for hopping in. Jury, what's on the agenda for the day? What's the first topic?
First, we're going to break down the Philly versus Minnesota thing because I had some things that I wanted to say personally about
Definitely.
that.
The Philadelphia Eagles against the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, the Eagles is being my squad. We did another ugly game, but we did pull out that win there. We was up 27-7, but we ended up winning 34-28. Jalen Hurts, still not Jalen Hurts like of last year, but 18 of 23, 193 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He did have two touchdowns as well. DeAndre Swift, 28 carries, 175 yards. Devontae Smith, 4 catches, 131 and a touchdown. And for the Minnesota side, Kirk Cousins actually played a good game. 31-44, 364, 4 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 11 catches, 159, but he couldn't get in the end zone. Addison, 3 catches, 72 yards. He got in the end zone. TJ Hawkinson got in the end zone twice, and KJ Osborne as well. Jury, what's on your mind about this game?
Other than the fact that A.J. Brown decided he wanted to go diva mode on everybody. It was going to happen. I'm like, I know what A.J. is when he starts dropping stuff. It was bound to happen at some point. And then the defense. I loved what I saw from Philly's defense. But there's some concern about the secondary depth. Even though I love some Josh Jobe. I love him. He's a Bama person. I love him. But a few times last night, he was toast.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not last night. That night, he was toast. And he got turned around at least once. I remember that one. That was bad. But Jalen looked okay. But I'm not really worried about the offense. Like, y'all having whole new coaches. So it's going to take it a minute.
Definitely going to give time to gel. No, I definitely agree with the secondary. We were down. Bradbury, number one corner. Avonte Maddox got hurt again. Nickel corner, seems like he can't stay healthy to save his life every time season comes. When we need him, he gets hurt. We was missing Blankenship, our safety. We was missing him. N'Kobe Dean's out for a month with his foot injury. That's the linebacker. But I still feel like defense played it well, even though we were missing starters. So, I mean, Sean Desai we still getting acclimated to, again, a new offensive coordinator. I still feel good about it. Slay had a pick six in the New England game. I feel like, he didn't shut down Justin Jefferson like he did last year. Justin still had 159 yards, but he kept him out the end zone. So secondary-wise, I'm not mad at that because we got 10 days to rest before we got to play the Bucks next Monday night. So we will have our starters back. But it just feel like offensively, I feel like we're not clicking yet. Still, after 2 weeks, I still think we're not clicking yet. What are your thoughts on the offense not clicking yet?
Yeah, like because you guys have a new offensive coordinator, even though it should be like a similar system as it was last year because that last year worked, but it's going to, I'd say give y'all about two or three more games to really get it clicking. Because it's starting to click, but it's not yet. And then you have an angry AJ acting a fool on the sidelines when it's not clicking. As far as like Minnesota is concerned.
Appreciate y'all. What's going on, Kyle and Daniel Berry as always? Appreciate y'all. the thing with AJ, I mean, the beef is probably squashed. He even said it himself. He passionate. He just wanted the ball a lot. He gets to the 100 times. He went to the 101. I get it, but at that time we're winning. Who
Don't show
cares?
your quarterback up.
Don't at this moment in time we're winning right now. We're up, and because of Brian Flores, who did a great job. Well, he called a good defensive game. It was just Minnesota's defense stinks. They didn't have time. They was covering all the receivers downfield, so Jalen really didn't have much to throw to. So that's why they ran it down their throats. So we're gonna go with stuff that's working, and if that means running the ball 99 times until you stop it, that's what happened. The DeAndre Swift 28 carries, 166 yards, 175 yards, I think it was somewhere out. He almost had 200 yards by himself rushing. So if it's working, and the running game's working, I'm going to keep going until they can stop it. Then, if I find you right after that little debate they had, he went right to him. But then I feel like they could have been a PI. But watch next game, they're going to come out firing AJ Brown,
and he better catch him.
But we can't keep kicking field goals either. I feel like we should have been up more points than the 34 that we had. 5 turnovers.
I know the refs killed one good drive. I saw the refs kill at least one good drive.
5 turnovers.
Or a flag.
5 fumbles.
A flag killed it.
Definitely was the killer. And Kyle says AJ Brown will get a lot of targets next game. They will force it to him. That's one thing you can't do. You can't force it if it's not there. That's how turnovers happen. Jalen gets his first turnover this year. Last year he only had 6, so hopefully we won't see a lot of turnovers, a lot of interceptions from him this year, because all of the media is going to go in on Jalen Hurts if he gets more picks than I already know how my city is here in Philly when it comes to the media. So after 2 weeks, teams, fans is already calling for people's heads. I'm like, we're 2-0. We are 2-0. We're not 0-2 trying to figure things out. We started off slow like this last year. By the third, the fourth game, it started to click. So hopefully we can we can start moving. But we get the job done. I'm not too much mad over the defense. I think the side will be okay. Brian Johnson right now is the big question mark for me when it comes to calling a good offensive game. I was calling for Swoop to call the plays. That's how mad I was. And Swoop is the damn mascot. And I know he could call better plays than Brian Johnson was on Thursday night. So, but any more thoughts about Thursday night's game?
Minnesota and turning the ball over. That's going to be a problem. If this game, if they didn't fumble, like if Justin Jefferson didn't fumble that ball deep into the red zone, we could have been talking about a whole different thing.
Oh yeah, we would have been down. That was just costly. A lot of people was upset about that rule. That rule need to be taken out. Don't fumble the ball.
No, keep your hand on the ball.
I know they was like, oh, if he fumbles, just let it be out where he fumbled it. It don't work that way.
In Minnesota's defense, I know what Flores is trying to do. I don't think he has the pieces to do it well yet.
Oh, that's not talking about the offensive line. Their offensive line is trash as well. Dillashaw was playing hurt, so he wasn't his best. Josh Sweat just bullied numbers. I think it was 78 or 76. I think he's done for the year. I forget what injury he had, but he's done for the year. I was like, oh my God.
They were down to their third O-line, to the third something.
And their center was out. So Minnesota needs help on that offensive line. Do you think Kirk Cousins will be there next year?
No.
I think they're going to move on from Kirk.
They're going to move on from Kirk. Because it's not like you have 2 bona fide receivers, right? And I think right now Kirk is a bridge quarterback. They're going to start looking, or they should have already started looking towards next year. Even though he did have a good game. But he won't be there. He might be there next year, but within the next 2 years, he won't be there. I can tell you that.
I think they move on from Kirk. I think it's time. I think because Kirk's not bad. He didn't have a bad game. Everybody said, oh, it's Kirk Cousins, prime time. He can't get the job done. I bet you if you put Kirk Cousins with the Jets, he's taking that team to the playoffs. Well, I mean, they don't have they got a crappy O line too, but you get what I'm saying. Like the Jets is just a quarterback away from possibly making some noise. But if you put Kirk in another system that has an offensive line and has weapons, Kirk's going to go to the playoffs, maybe possibly the Super Bowl. So they might let Kirk go, let him explore maybe another team. He's definitely not a backup in this league, so he's definitely going to be a starter somewhere else who needs a quarterback. So we'll see what Minnesota decides to do with Kirk Cousins, because you see how Washington did him. So you like that?
Yep.
All right, Dre, what's next on the list?
The NFL being cheap, because you heard about Jason Kelce having to pay $50,000 for those tickets. I feel like that if you're paying these players millions of dollars and they go to the Super Bowl, why are you taking money out of their pockets to line your pockets? Just so that their family can watch them play in the biggest game of their lives. Y'all got money to swallow that, to eat that. It's crazy, but it's of course the NFL and how that works.
Facts. Kyle, I think the Vikings did end up drafting a QB this year out the draft, if I'm not mistaken. But if y'all have not yet seen the Kelce documentary, it is on Amazon Prime, and I did take a look at that, and I had to sit through that and painfully go through the Super Bowl again. But just overall, it's a good documentary. Just every day, talking about Jason Kelce, who is the number one, in my opinion, number one quarterback. I mean, center in his league. Just telling him about his football and at home life too. His wife at the time was 38 weeks pregnant during the Super Bowl, so she could have went into labor at any time, but they were sitting there, and she was just like, "I don't even want to look at this calculator because this is ridiculous." $50K. Now, mind you, they have two small kids. Is both parents, so it's Kelsey's parents, her parents, and the OBGYN. All that for $50K. $50,000. Now, one ticket alone was at least what 10,000. I see was the highest. So the NFL is that money hungry and wants all that. Well, mind you, the money doesn't really go to the NFL; it goes to the owner of the stadium. So they're getting all that money that goes to the owner of the stadium. So the Cardinals was getting this money because that's where they was holding it. The Super Bowl was held in their stadium.
They were getting all that money and they weren't improving their facilities. That's why people don't like playing in Arizona.
And plus the field was horrible. Y'all waited to sample this grass or turf or whatever it was that was on there. Y'all waited to sample it of the biggest football game known to man. Y'all wait to the Super Bowl to mess with the field conditions. Again, that's not why we lost. But both teams were struggling. You seen the cleats. Everybody had to make adjustments to. It was $200,000 for that field. Is what y'all paid for it to look a mess. Luckily it wasn't a blowout or nobody seriously got hurt with that field with them conditions because it was awful. But you mean to tell me you can't give out? I'm not saying give out tickets to everybody's family. You can't limit it to maybe two or three tickets. You can't put a limit. At least the wife, maybe a set of parents, or maybe a mom and somebody else. You can't limit it to how many, like maybe two per family. I mean, that's doable. You make all this money, you can't set that aside. Like, okay, we got players and family that need tickets.
Do it like how they do high school graduations.
Facts.
Like when I graduated 5 years ago, it was like 3 or 4 tickets.
Yep.
Of course, you had people buying you had people buying extra tickets, but yeah, you got 3 to 5 tickets per person.
Right. 3 per family is what we got. And yeah, I get it. They make millions too, but I'm sure they don't want to spend $50K for no Super Bowl.
No.
And what about the long snapper? He don't get paid that much. He gets paid to snap a ball. I'm sure he's not making millions of dollars. He got to pay for his wife. He got to pay $5,000 for a ticket. Come on now. The long snapper, the special teams guys, they don't make millions of dollars like the skilled players do. He
They
gets
don't.
paid. He got the best position. You know why? He gets paid and he can't get hit. Because if he gets hit, it's a penalty.
Yep.
So, I mean, NFL, man, y'all gotta stop being so cheap, in my opinion. Millions, they
Treat
make
your
millions.
players right.
Right.
Jesus Christ. They already complaining about turf. Treat your players right.
Speaking of turf, Aaron Rodgers goes down, plays 4 snaps. Everybody was high on the Jets. The Jets came. As soon as Aaron Rodgers came out the tunnel, I was like, the Jets are about to do some damage because he had the flag. It was 9/11. It was wasn't in New York, but they 9/11 New York, the firefighters, the first responders. You know how 9/11 went down. It was just a good time to bring everybody together. And he came out with the flag. I'm like, the Jets is about to come in hot. That first drive, Aaron Rodgers was running for his life, and I told people,
I told them.
I said the Jets aren't making the playoffs. I didn't think they was going to make the playoffs like this. But I said, y'all O-line is trash. Oh, I know a couple Jets fans. Oh, no, it'll be fine. Mekhi Becton, when he stays healthy. Keyword in that sentence is when he stays healthy. He's never on the field. And then when he gets on the field, he messes up. Aaron Rodgers even told the offensive coordinators, I don't like it. When we got to do these chop block plays on these offensive players, I can't, they're making me get the ball out faster. And that's what happened. Mekhi Becton went for the chop block, and it didn't work. Boom, Aaron Rodgers gets tackled, and he tore his Achilles. Thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and the whole Jet situation, and is the AstroTurf to blame?
No, but I was in New York that night. I was actually in New York that night. I know that, and it was raining. It was raining. So that whole area, it was raining pretty good. So what they could have done, because they know that it was turf, like artificial turf, they could have at least had, I don't know if they could drain the field or whatnot, but they could have had a weather delay for an hour. I'm not saying the turf was the reason why Aaron tore his Achilles. No, he tore his Achilles because he landed wrong because the offensive line was not blocking like they were supposed to, or that chop blocking thing. So the field has some type of culpability, but no, they could have had a weather delay, figured out the field, and then played on it. But Aaron Rod, that whole situation, if you kind of like Aaron Rodgers, you kind of feel for him, or as a human being, you feel for him getting hurt because all it took was 4 plays, and now it's like the Jets season went down to is half of what it's supposed to be. We don't know if they're even going to the playoffs.
Right.
And you had some irrational people saying that the Jets were going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they were going to the Super Bowl with an offensive line like that. They're clearly not now. But yeah.
Because his dust is old. He's old.
That could be too, because he already had a calf injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think Aaron is going to come back. But we all know the Jets aren't going to the Super Bowl with Zach Wilson. We know what Zach Wilson is. Do I see little minuscule improvement? Yes, but
yeah,
he is we know what he is. He's still panicky. He still got the jitters, and he still looks like he doesn't know what to do in a pocket. So,
I mean, all Zach Wilson needs to be is a game manager. He has a good running game in Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. He has Allen Lazard. He has the tight ends. He has Garrett Wilson. And he has a top 4 defense. All he needs to do is game manage the game and win the game. He can't get panicky. When he sees the rush, he panics. Soon as he sees the rush, he fleds the pocket. He don't know what to do. That's when turnovers happen. The one play I did see him, the rush was coming. He did step up and he threw the ball, which was great. He read it perfectly. Um, so he needs to not be so panicky when he sees a rush. I said the same thing. They wasn't going to the Super Bowl or without him, with A-Rod. And people looked at me like I'm crazy. I said the Jets wasn't going to go when A-Rod was there. I said it. But as long as Zach Wilson, if they can manage the game, they'll be fine because their defense is good. Sauce Gardner, both Williams brothers, Quentin and Quincy, they got a good front. They got a good secondary. So that defense was crazy good. So see what they can do against Dallas. When we get into the picks, I might shock you. You might look at me crazy. But no, that's all Zach Wilson needs to do is just manage the game. Just manage the game, and the Jets will have some wins. They're not winning that division, but they should maybe fight for a wild card. But I don't see it with that offensive line. Something has to give. And Rodgers did say it's a possibility. I think he's going to run it back. He was talking to Pat McAfee yesterday. I think it's a chance he's going to run it back. The surgery was successful. Everything is good, but I think he will run it back. I don't think he goes out like that. So what's next?
Kadarius Toney.
Oh boy. So we all know Kadarius Toney week 1 wasn't catching not a dang on thing. Couldn't catch a cold if he tried. And Kansas City did lose that game. But what antics is Kadarius Toney up to now? Is having difficulties? I think so. Oh, jury stuck in the multiverse.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, because something happened. But with Kadarius Toney and going on social media, the thing is, if you're gonna be on social media acting like that, stand on it. Don't go ghost. Because the Giants fans were gonna antagonizing the Giants for losing by 40 when you didn't look too nice and you lost, and then the go ghost. Stand on it. If you're gonna be a villain, if you're gonna antagonize people, stand on it. When I antagonize people, I stand on it. That's just cornball behavior. And he was like that when he was like that when he was a Giant too. So it is what it is when it comes to Mr. Toney.
Freddie, what's going on, Freddie? Kyle said he better ball out after those social media trolling.
Yep.
I
do antagonize you, and I stand on
it. Kadarius Toney, I think he will rebound. He better have been in practice on the jugs all game catching balls. That's his whole practice was him catching. His whole practice, he should have been catching balls. Kansas City, I think they bounce back. I think Toney bounces back. He better, because they are going to go in on him on the media if he has another game as he had against the Lions. Freddie, how about them Lions? How about them Rams? Oh, can we get into some Titan talk?
Yeah, that's on there. That's on there. Yeah, I got my note.
We gonna talk about we gonna talk about week 2 as well coming up. But Kadarius Toney, just be humble about things. Like, you don't need to be going at other people. I think people are out of pocket how they come at these athletes on social media, and will start not to. Dad, did you? Alexander Matheson, did you see what the Vikings fans did? It was all in his inbox. I hate people
I hate people like that.
At the end of the day, These are humans too. Just because they're athletes don't mean they're not human. So you cannot go in their inbox and be all reckless and be racial and everything else and death threats and what, it's not necessary. Like why? Like
When
why?
we all know that if you were in said athlete's face, you'd be begging for an autograph and crying. So what is with going in these athletes' DMs or whatnot and talking all this tough talk when in reality you wouldn't say half of what you would say in those DMs in person?
Nope. None whatsoever. None. None. Um, but yeah, that was unacceptable. And then they talk about us Eagles fans. We would have got the book handed it to us if we did some crap like that. The book would have been thrown. Everything would have been off the hook. Oh, these Eagles fans is horrible. Look what they're doing. No, I don't want to hear nobody come at the other people's fan bases. Come at the Vikings fan base. Come at Packers fan bases for cheering for Aaron Rodgers. I get it was something's going on if the Jets win or something. They get a beer and he ended up losing. They had to pay. Don't cheer for this man because he got hurt. We don't do that if you're a human being.
Mm-hmm.
As a human being that has some sense or some type of empathy, we don't hurt. We don't cheer for hurt people. I wasn't that one that cheered for Michael Irvin when he got hurt. That was the other Philly fans. That's not. I don't associate myself with them Philly fans. But I hate when people cheer somebody got hurt. Look what happened with Kevin Durant in the Raptor series. Drake had to tell the fans to chill. Like, come on, we don't do that as a human race. Like, we don't cheer for other people's downfall and hurt. Like, I don't get it.
I
I
agree.
just don't get it.
It's like even with my own fan base, because you know how Tannehill threw them 3 picks week 1. I saw somebody say, "I hope he break every bone in his body," and I hope I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Since when do we do this?
Right.
It does, and then you have people saying, "Oh, it's not even a major injury, just like a little hamstring pull."
It don't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Because them hamstring injuries is tricky. You can be out some games from them hamstring injuries if they don't heal right. Just Godfrey said he cheered for the hit, not the injury. With Mike, Michael Irvin or whatever. But yeah, the hit, it could have been a hit. Like, yes, good hit. And then you're like, oh crap, he down. Like, come on. Like,
But to sit on the internet and say, "I wish somebody break all the bones in their body and I want them to die," and da 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 da. Go touch grass. It's not that serious. Go outside
right.
and ground yourself. If you're gonna let a sport take your empathy and your decency.
Because I guarantee you, if that was your brother or sibling or whoever, family member, and someone was in your DMs or in their DMs saying the same thing, you wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like it at all. If the shoe was on the other foot, you wouldn't like it at all. What's going on, Coach? And you wouldn't like it at all if the shoe was on the other foot. And it's just I just don't understand. Like that one Eagles fans. I have never seen dude. We don't claim him in Eagles Nation, but he was saying all this stuff about Dak Prescott and his mom. That pissed me off so bad. And as much as I can't stand Dallas, again, I don't wish on nobody's downfall. When Dak hurt his ankle and he was crying, I felt for Dak. Because you
Godfrey
don't
has a
want to
point.
see another man, and you don't want to see nobody injured. You want to see them have a good competitive game without no injuries. But like Godfrey said, when you put some alcohol or something in them, alcohol and the rise of legal gambling, that's what the reason all this behavior is. I get it, and I know it is, but still, like, it's unacceptable. Unacceptable,
Absolutely.
people. Y'all need to get it together as a human race. Some decency. All right, what we got next?
Giannis, on to the NBA. We're going to go through week 2 shortly, but that's going to take a minute. So, Giannis and his comments about being a buck and also being a winner.
Giannis did state, he said he would leave too if the Bucks didn't put a team around him. I mean, just look at Chris Middleton. He hasn't been available. He was hurt. You got appreciate you, Evan. You got Bobby Portis. You still got Drew Holiday. You still got some people there. I mean, the Bucks could be a championship team. I mean, they got knocked out by Jimmy Buckets in the first round. He just wants some solid pieces too, because Giannis can't do it all by himself. He's not Superman now. The bench play is okay, but he did say if things ain't together, Giannis could potentially go. And the Knicks and the Lakers was the two main teams that popped up. Your thoughts on Giannis and possibly do he stay a Buck or do you see him moving?
With Giannis is a little too real. Like I appreciate the honesty. Certain things you just don't need to say, but and that being a winner part was one of them. But with him, he's putting it out there that he's letting it be known that the pieces around him, like Kyle said, needs to change. That he wants to be in a situation where it's him and his team who are capable, whether it's the pieces around him or the bench, to winning continuous championships, which is hard. But when you look at what the Bucks have done, he has some pieces, but could they be better? Is there better out there that they could go get? Yes. And I feel like if the Bucks don't heed to the kind of blaring, because he's putting out these warnings. He keeps saying this stuff, and it's kind of like a warning. If you don't put these pieces around me, I'm going to dip. That's really what he's saying.
They can get a haul for him. They will get a haul for him
They'll
too.
get a haul for him.
It'll be a Rudy Gobert type of haul that Utah did.
But it won't be a dumb one.
Right.
That Rudy Gobert thing was stupid. But they'll get some compensation, but he's making it known if you guys don't put these pieces around me like I see fit, I'm out. And again, if they don't do it within the next, then you just sign a contract. I might be mistaken for somebody else.
I don't think he just signed one. I mean, he did get an extension though.
Yeah, but so within the next 2 to 3 years, if they don't fix the depth and the pieces around him and improve, he'll be out of there.
And all the Knicks is missing is a good quality. 3 years. Thanks, Con. 3 years, 173. Is his contract.
Oh yeah.
New York is definitely missing a piece. New York is a piece away from possibly going to the finals or winning the championship. They still got Brunson. They still got RJ Barrett. They traded Obi Toppin. I still end up thinking that they might even still pull a Donovan Mitchell because I don't know if Cleveland is going to, try to extend him or whatnot. So it is possible Donovan Mitchell can still be on the move. But
what the Knicks need to do is get rid of Julius Randle.
Who's going to want Randle though? Send him to where all the teams send their players. OKC. Dump them there. That's facts too. They need to get rid of their owner too. That's another one. But who was going to want Julius Randle?
I don't even. Charlotte?
Maybe. I still think LaMelo Ball should have got out of Charlotte and make him go somewhere else. But
yeah, but they paid him so.
They paid him. Too late now. What you got next?
The load management rule. How do you like it?
For me, I'm all for it. I see both sides though. I see there being some type of issue. So one, I pay an average of 4 people, a family of 4, pays over $500 just to go to a game. And if I go to a game and LeBron James or Anthony Davis ain't playing because they tired, are you kidding me? I spent my hard-earned dollars to see y'all play, and y'all not even playing. It's a kick in the face to us fans. It's a kick in the face for that maybe we don't have enough money, but there was like this one game I'm going to save up just for this one game. I get to see my favorite player. I got my jersey on. You this is what you signed up for. You wanted to play basketball for a living. You play 82 games. The only way I am sitting if I legit have an injury and I cannot go. Then you sit me. But because I'm tired, I am not sitting. I get paid too much money to be sitting. Now, if you talking about a back-to-backs, okay, NBA change it. Don't have back-to-back games. Because I think that's crazy too. You got to go to Boston and then you got to go to New York the next night. No, don't do that. So change the back-to-backs. If don't take the back-to-backs out. If it's like that, if you're tired, but I don't want to hear this low management. Oh well, his thumb's hurting, so he's not going to play. What?
The only I get the part of people spend their hard-earned money. The only part I don't like about it is how they get to dictate who's a star and who's not. Like, I understand the parameters, but you're telling me if somebody that wasn't in all NBA or an all-star last year and they're an all-star this year, that means next year they can't sit out. I mean, which makes sense, but unless it's an injury, you don't. The whole star picking thing is kind of confusing to me. But I don't like that part. But as far as people spending their hard-earned money to go see these people play, and then they're not playing because of what? A bruise on their thigh?
Right.
Put some icy hot on it and get out there. I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but if it's the bruise, put the gun on it. You can play. I played with bruise, anything. So as long as I like the principle of it, is that it's not a major injury, like you know that you can't go or you can't go for an extended period of time, then yeah, you need to be out there playing. You put it right. I couldn't just say that, but you know what?
Right. Again,
Right
you signed up to play basketball for a living. You get paid $40 million a year. You mean to tell me you're gonna miss a game because you're tired? I can miss a see me. I don't make $40 a year, and if I'm tired, I can say I don't got to go to work because I still get paid for it. It's called PTO. Y'all don't have PTO. There's no time paid off.
You got the off season.
You have an off season for. You have an off season for that. You get paid these max deals. I better not see Jaylen Brown on this list for load management. They just paid him $300 some odd million. He better be on his deathbed. He better can't breathe. He better have a finger hanging off. His foot better be dangling for him to say, I can't play. So that goes for street clothes too. That goes for Anthony Davis. That goes for Joel, his big ass. That goes for everybody. All the NBA stars. Kyrie, you better be on the court. You better be on
Kyrie
the court.
gonna be next on my trigger list too.
I hit that. All right, that was my rant. People pay hard-earned money. If you go to a specific site only once, your ass better play. Facts. Kobe played on a broken thumb. Yep. AI. Do you know how many dots in the finals? How many dots they put on this man's body? It was 1 point. Well, this was before Lillard, man. It was 1 point. They had to hide AI's shoes. They had to hide his shoes because he was hurt, so he wouldn't go out there. And he tried to pay the trainer to go get down the street to Foot Locker to get him a pair of sneakers. So come on, like this is the thing. Like this is the different. I know it's a different era, maybe a different mindset. AI, they took his shoes. He was willing to pay somebody to go get him another pair so he can be on that court. Nobody has that mindset today.
They're soft.
Nobody has that mindset today. You poke Anthony Davis, his ass is glass. He's sitting on the bench.
Joel, you look at him too hard.
Yeah, Joel too. I can't just go at AD. Joel fragile too, and that's my guy. And you know that's my guy, and he hasn't been street clothes and be lately, but in the playoffs when we need him, he's hurt and he don't show up. So
and it's because he always stay on the ground because he always falls.
We know what the bottom of his shoes look like. I never seen somebody so clumsy. You know what the bottom of this man's shoes look like. It should have a count. In one game, I'm going to count how many times he falls. or take a shot for every time he falls. I'll be drunk.
Yep. Blackout.
But then I get on the other point of the side, they're gonna say, how can you say somebody don't have a legit injury? How you gonna how you gonna check? That's gonna be the interesting
That's gonna be
part.
the
And I
issue.
can see the Players Association probably get involved with that. Like, how are you gonna say what a legit injury is? So that's definitely going to be interesting. Like I said, it's both somebody's gonna rebuttal this. But what you got next? What's next?
Week 2 in the NFL, the rundown of the slate and our predictions.
Alrighty, down to the nitty gritty here, because that will take us up into hour that we have here. So let me pull out my list here. All right, so Thursday's game already happened. So let's go through the 1:00 games. We got the Bills going up against the Raiders, and the Bills at home. Bills Mafia, Raider Nation goes into Buffalo. Bills got a tough game to bounce back from. Josh Allen didn't have a great game. Who you got winning?
I got the Bills. I just don't need Josh Allen turning into another version of Ryan Tannehill. They played their worst games. I don't know what that was, but Buffalo should bounce back in theory.
Right.
But the Raiders are tricky because I didn't think the Raiders were going to win that game, but they did. Maybe that's a testament to the Broncos, but
I picked the Raiders, by the way, last week.
they have some bright spots with Jimmy G, but their defense is still
Suspect.
Suspect. So I'm giving the
Um,
Bills a bounce back.
the Bills will bounce back. I agree. Everybody's like, "Oh, the Bills ain't got no running backs." The Bills has running backs. They got Josh. They got Well, Josh Allen is a runner. They do run, but you got James Cook. You got Damian Harris. They have running backs. They don't use them because they want Josh Allen to run the ball. Josh
My
Allen needs to relax. He can stay in the pocket and throw a bomb. Only run when he has to. And stop forcing the damn ball. Because I don't know. Whitehead last week, do you know his incentive was to get 3 picks and he gets an extra $250,000. He got it on the first day. Ain't that crazy? That is crazy to have an incentive on your contract. If you get 3 interceptions, you get this extra $250K. He did it in one game. So Whitehead was the best Bills player on that team last week.
and with
But
Josh Allen, it's like they're trying to rein him in, but it's not going to work because they've let this go on for so long with him having to use his body as like a wrecking ball and him getting away with these arm punts that he throws and the recklessness that is going to be difficult to rein him in. So he is what he is at that point. You just got to hope that you can get it out of him or hold on because it's going to be a ride.
right, and you need to hold on to the fumbles too, because he fumbled too. So that whole
Yeah.
game, why the Bills lost was because Josh Allen. But Josh Allen bounces back. He'll get Stephon Diggs involved more. I say the Bills will win this game. Now, as far as the Raiders side, I mean, you still got Josh Jacobs, still got Devontae Adams, and Max Crosby on that defense. Jimmy G again, he's just a game manager. He didn't look bad, but he wasn't great either. But I'm taking the Bills. We got the Ravens and the Bengals.
I see Joe Burrow bouncing back. Not because I don't like the Ravens. I'm not saying that because I don't like the purple people. But I feel like Joe Burrow will bounce back. He's more prone to do it. And the Baltimore also has some injuries that could, like Marlon Humphrey hasn't came back. He has a surgery. Ronnie
J.K.
Stanley's
Dobbins.
out.
J.K. Dobbins is done for the year. His
Done
Achilles.
for the year. I feel like with the injuries already starting to kind of pile up over in Baltimore, and with hopefully if the Cincinnati Bengals O-line can play correctly and block correctly and keep him clean, yeah, they'll bounce back, no doubt. I have no concerns about the Bengals handling the Ravens.
No, I definitely think Joe Burrow gets a bounce back here. Division games always play tough. Division games is the best games to play because they play each other crazy. I got Joe Cool bouncing back. He got his hair cut now. He's back to being Joe Cool. I don't know who that was out there. That wasn't Joe Burrow. I saw
Mm-mm.
3 points. What the mess? And I know fantasy owners was going crazy. Joe Burrow putting up goose eggs. Jamar Chase couldn't get open. Only person on that team had a bright spot was Joe Mixon. But no, I see Cincinnati bouncing back. Jamar Chase going to go off. But Lamar Jackson, I mean, Houston, even though they only had 9 points, Houston made Lamar Jackson work for that.
Mm-hmm.
Will Anderson Jr., watch out, defensive rookie player of the year. I'm calling it. Houston's defense, had some bright spots. They made Lamar work for that. Jackson don't lose. Baltimore is showing 0 on offense.
But you gotta
And
also consider the other teams in the division. Like Cleveland, as much as I don't like the Clowns either, um, Cleveland looks good. Cincy, once they get rolling, we know what they're capable of. And Lamar's gonna keep, if Lamar doesn't play, if Baltimore keeps showing 0, but like we said earlier about with Philly, they have a new offensive coordinator, they have a whole new system, so
mm-hmm.
it might take them a minute. It might take them a little even longer to get it rolling. So with Baltimore, I'm taking Cincy because I don't think that offense isn't clicking yet either. Even though they looked good and they can score points, but Lamar did not play his best game.
I think Lamar and Zay Flowers are going to have a good chemistry. Of course, OBJ is
Mm-hmm.
going to be OBJ. How long will it be him crying he ain't getting the ball? We got the Jags and the Chiefs here. Of course, the Chiefs lost that game to the Lions. The Lions' pass aggressiveness was getting them Mahomes. Now Travis Kelce will be back, and so will Chris Jones. Chris Jones is back as well, so we get a boost in their defense. Who you got winning this game?
I got the Chiefs winning a close one. I mean, I like simply it's like because Chris Jones is back, Chris Jones can get to the quarterback, and once you start hitting Trevor Lawrence, you might see a different side of Trevor Lawrence. Once you sack him a few times, you might see a different side of Trevor Lawrence. And so is Kelce. The last when he didn't have Kelce, he did not. Patrick Mahomes did not look too comfortable.
He looked comfortable. His receivers kept dropping the ball.
That too. He was fine. The receivers just, I guess they decided they just wanted to put butter on their fingers apparently right before a game because he has with Kelce being back, that's gonna push him over the edge. But the only thing I worry about is the secondary versus Ridley.
Mm,
Calvin Ridley whatever rust we thought he was gonna have, then knocked it right on off.
right.
So I have it a close game, but I still have the Chiefs winning.
And they got KC -3 on the spread. No, it might be closer than what you think, but they're gonna Kelsey's definitely gonna be back. But how we don't know how Travis is gonna play either. Bone bruise in
Mm-mm.
his knee. We don't know how that's gonna affect him. Seen him some antics in practice, him twerking and stuff, talking about some of his knee. He limping and then he started twerking. I'm like, okay, Travis is back.
He's fine.
But we'll see. That offense definitely did miss Kelsey, but at the same time, I feel like in that game, Mahomes was spreading the ball around. But why stop going to the one person who was catching balls, and that was MVS? If you know Tony wasn't catching balls, try to go back to Scantlin. Try to go back to the other tight ends that was getting it. That was catching. Blake caught a
Their wide
pass.
receiver room needs
Noah
some help.
Gray caught balls. He had a touch. Blake Bell had a touchdown. Noah Gray was catching balls. Why keep going at Tony if you know he wasn't going to drive it? Sky Moore was non-existent. So I mean, but they'll get it together.
That
Against
receiver
the
room
Jags.
do need some help.
Oh, here we go. Your Chargers. I might have to change my pick now. Your Chargers over Tennessee. Your Titans over the Chargers, and no Austin Eckler. So Joshua Kelly will be running the ball. Kelly's good too, but who you
They're
got in
not
this
running the
game?
ball on my defense like that. They're not doing that. I have trying to be a homer. I have my Titans bouncing back. Ryan Tannehill knows he can't perform like he did in week 1. That's why we got Salty Tannehill talking about he's done answering questions about week 1. Yeah,
He
they
played
brought out
horrible.
Salty
That's why.
Tannehill. He played horrible, but he knows he can't do that. And then the offensive coordinator didn't acting like he didn't know what the heck he was doing. They'll get Derek involved more. The only I'm trying to be objective as I can. I don't like the Chargers defense.
J.C.
I
Jackson, he left. As soon as he left New England, he looking like poop.
Yeah, and I don't know what side he's gonna be on. If DeAndre Hopkins plays and they got J.C. Jackson on him, that could be an issue. My offensive line is playing a little bit better. Andre Dillard is about to make me mad.
You welcome.
No,
Why you think he didn't start for us? Why you think he didn't start for the
no.
Eagles?
There was one play that I don't know what I forgot the name of the Saints player made him look stupid. I'm like, I can't sit through this another. I can't sit through this another year. I go from Dennis Daly to Andre Dillard. Obviously, there's an upgrade, but it didn't look like it there. But I feel like this is one of those games that could be a close game or a blowout. But I like my Titans bouncing back because we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball more and better, and hopefully somebody doesn't throw 3 picks.
Oh, Tannehill. Before we mess around, see
Malik
Malik
Willis.
Willis in there, and that's not going to be nice either. Um,
Chaos Mario. That's what I call him.
Not playoff Mario.
Chaos.
Oh, okay. So we got the Chargers and the Titans, and they got the Chargers 2.5. No Eckler changes everything because when Herbert is not playing well, who do they go to get us spark? Austin Eckler. He had that run right up from the very gate, that long run right up the middle there. I'm still gonna take the Chargers. Still gonna take the Chargers. I think Joshua Kelly can run, but if the running game's not working, of course Herbert's gonna try to force it to his receivers. You still got Keenan Allen. You still got Quentin Johnston, the rookie from TCU. You still got Mike Williams. I'm not sure if he's in or not. I know he did get hurt too. I'm gonna still go with the
I'm
Chargers.
so sick and tired of playing the Chargers because I played them last year and lost. I'm so sick and tired of them. And then watch for Arden Key. Watch for him because he made his presence known last week.
Okay. Arden Key been around the block a few times too in some teams.
He was in Jacksonville. We stole him.
He was in Jacksonville. He was with the Raiders. He's been around the block. We got the Packers going up against Atlanta Falcons. Both of these teams are 1-0. Desmond Ridder didn't look bad last week, and nor did Jordan Love. He actually had a pretty decent game, Jordan Love here. Who you taking?
This is a toss-up for me, but I'm taking the Packers because I like Jordan Love over Ridder. But in the offense, I don't know because it's like it's a toss-up because with Atlanta in that running game, we know what Arthur Smith is capable of with the running game. And then if Desmond Ridder can continue to build off of last week and they improve, they'll make this very interesting. But Green Bay, their defense is kind of solid, especially when it comes to the run. And Jordan Love looks pretty good too. So I'm erring on the side of Green Bay. He was not. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't throw a touchdown, but he didn't turn the ball over. I mean, he can build off of that.
Okay, so they actually have Atlanta favorite 1.5, and you know what? I'm going to take Atlanta here. I want to take Atlanta. Hold on, I got to get my other laptop up because my son forgot my charger. I'm going to take the Atlanta here. I feel like they didn't have no catches to Drake London. He got nothing. You got to get Drake London involved. You got to get him involved. They got Algier, and Algier was 1,000-yard back last year, and
Kyle Pitts is a myth.
you just added a Bijan Robinson. So I still think the running game will be effective. I know Green Bay's defense isn't that bad. They played great against Chicago, but I'm still gonna take Atlanta here. I got Atlanta winning.
Kyle Pitts is a myth until he can be consistent and stay healthy.
Free Kyle Pitts from Atlanta.
Yeah.
All right, you got the Seahawks and the Lions.
If the Seahawks come out like they did last week, it's going to be Detroit by a landslide. I like Detroit's defense. And if they don't, I like the Detroit's defense. Most improved is their secondary. I don't know what CJ Gardner-Johnson got going on over there in Detroit with purple mask, blue mask, and whatnot, but I have Detroit winning this game favorably.
All right. Give me 1 second.
And I just don't. I know what Geno Smith is, but with that secondary, I have Detroit.
I don't know what CJ talking about. He getting the blue masks. Everybody he want to see everybody in Detroit with blue ski masks going. Like, come on, bro. But I'm going with the Lions here. I feel like the Lions has a better defense than Seattle right now. DK Metcalf, I don't know if he's going to get fined. Well, he didn't get fined. I don't think he got fined because that push was ridiculous he did last week. I don't know. I just like Detroit. Detroit's offense is clicking, especially if you got St. Brown, you got Jahmyr Gibbs running, you got Sam Laporta. I'm just liking the Lions here. I see the Lions going 2-0 here. Devin Witherspoon is on the rookie on the Seattle side. I know they got Zach Charbonnet as well. They got JSN over there too. Tyler Lockett. Everybody forgets about Tyler Lockett. He's so underrated. But I got the Lions winning here. I still got the Lions winning.
Yeah.
Got the Colts and the Texans. AFC South matchup.
Battle of the rookies. I'm taking Houston. I don't like the Colts offensive line. And we know what the Houston, even though they did give up 25 to Baltimore, that defense looked pretty good for under a first-year head coach. I like that defense. I don't trust the Colts offensive line. I'm still unsure about Anthony Richardson. Even though, yes, they have Michael Pittman and those targets, but I'm having Houston, even though I hope they both lose or end up in a tie.
We don't need to see no more ties. We don't need to see no ties.
I like to see a tie. I like chaos.
So I'm going to go Houston here as well. And Houston is going to be missing two of their safeties, which would be Jimmy Ward and Jalen Petrie. CJ Stroud is questionable. Quentin Nelson is questionable on that offensive line for the Colts. I'm still going to go with Houston here. This might actually be a low-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it being crazy high numbers and high gun slinging. CJ Stroud is having great chemistry with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. You got Robert Woods, who's a veteran over there in that rookie running wide receiver room. And he was balling. Robert Woods did have a good game, even though they lost. But I'm going to take the Texans here to beat the Colts. I'm not saying it's going to be all field goals, but it's going to be a low scoring game. I don't think it's going to be crazy high scoring.
I know how Coach feels about Davis Mills. I'm not even going to start with him with that.
Oh, Lord. Please don't let us see Davis Mills in this game.
I'm going to turn it off if I see Davis Mills. There's that.
Because Houston last year could have won more games than they when they thought they was. It was that offense that they was up against Kansas City. That would have been the upset of the week. But I knew that wasn't going to last long. All right. So we got the Bears going up against the Bucks.
I got the Bucks. I the Bucks is just an overall better team, and it's not close. Even though it really depends on which Baker you get. Are you gonna get chip on the shoulder that throws to the correct team, Baker, or are you gonna get the other one?
Who did I take in this game? I actually took the Bears. I mean, they didn't win against Green Bay, but Justin Fields, didn't look bad. Clay's Chapel need to be out of Chicago because there's no effort. He don't want to play there. Get Finding Nemo out of here.
He's
Um, get
that's
him
a
out of
rant.
here. Get him out of here. Get Chase Claypool out of here. Have DJ Moore. DJ Moore and Fields have great chemistry together. You can tell they're going to be a special duo. They still have the running game. Their defense isn't half bad. Give me Chicago here to take on Baker Mayfield. And so we got we got both 0-1 teams. This was a hard pick for me to do. I was like, this game right here. The Giants, who didn't score no points, up against the Cardinals with no quarterback in Josh Dobbs, who didn't know the team's names in the huddle because he just got there and learned the playbook. He said, "Thank God y'all got names on y'all jerseys because I don't know who y'all are." Josh Dobbs for the Arizona Cardinals.
They
Daniel
put
No
him in the
Points
fire.
Jones. Daniel No Points Jones goes up against the Arizona Cardinals. Who you got?
I got the Giants. I suspect that the Giants will be somewhat angry about that national embarrassment that they suffered. And the Giants have a better roster than the Cardinals do. I like Daniel Jones over Dobbs. Surprising to say. Their defense is better than Arizona's. It was just they had the misfortune of playing the Cowboys first,
Mm-hmm.
and they got 40 pieced and shut out. I feel like they will rebound at the cost of Arizona.
In Arizona, Isaiah Simmons gets to play against his former team.
Oh yeah, he'll be motivated.
Definitely be motivated. Got some question. Buda Baker's questionable. All these people's questionable. They'll be in. Wendell Robinson, still haven't seen him yet. He's doubtful. Andrew Thomas on that offensive line, he's questionable. That offensive line for the Giants ain't that great either. Evan Neal still getting killed, and this
I'm,
game was
I'm
hard for me to pick. I got a strange feeling Arizona might pull this one out, but I didn't pick Arizona. Because I feel like the Giants are gonna sold me. They gonna sell. So, but I'm taking the Giants here. But I swear for beans, if New York loses, do you know this chat is gonna go crazy in that inbox on a one certain Giants fan that we all know? Oh my god! But
don't
I'm gonna
bring him up right now.
go. But I'm gonna go Giants here. I think the Giants back from the Cardinals. I mean from that awful game they had. That first drive, I was like, okay, they looking good. And then after that,
Yeah.
it was all
Oh,
bro. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. We got the 49ers and the Rams, another West Division in an NFC. Who you got here?
this one was actually hard because the Rams actually surprised me last week. They played pretty well, but I still have San Francisco.
Shoot, the San Francisco might not put no points up on this game either. The Rams might not put up no points. The way the 49ers defense was going to Pittsburgh
Yes,
last week. The only bright spot in that Pittsburgh game was TJ Watt getting 3 sacks on Purdy. That was it.
and Purdy still looked good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know what
Um,
Matt Stafford is capable of, and I don't think is Cooper Cup playing. No.
no, Cooper Cup is done for the first 4 games.
Oh yeah. No Cooper Cup. Is Aaron Donald back and he's
Yeah,
healthy? But that
Donald's
he
in.
might. I'm still having San Francisco because that
Yeah.
defense is too stout, and I still don't know about the Rams' offensive line.
No, you didn't see that clip last week? Aaron Donald was coming at Geno Smith. You heard Geno Smith was going, oh my
Oh
God.
no.
I would say, oh my God, too, if I see Aaron Donald coming
Yeah.
for me. No, I got the 49ers here. Brock Purdy looked good. He went 19 to 29, 220 and 2 tubs. Again, all he has to do is be a game manager as well. Just manage the game. He got weapons around him. I don't know who pissed off Brandon Ayuk, but he had a monster game last week. 8 catches, 129, 2 touchdowns. McCaffrey, somebody pissed him off too. 22 carries, 152, and he had that 63-yard bomb, 63-yard run. It's too much firepower on this 49ers team, especially on the defensive side. You still got Troy Polamalu Jr., aka Tafunga. I can't say his first name. And then you got Fred Warner, still one of good linebacker. You still got Trey Greenball. You still got all those guys on that defensive side of the ball. So I'm going here and go with San Fran against Freddie's former team, the Rams. We got the Jets, Jets, just in the season. Jets against the Dallas Cowboys, who put a smacking on the other New York team. Are they going to do the same thing this week?
They could, but I feel like this will be a defensive slug out with the Jets and the Cowboys. And I think Dallas is gonna win this game because they have the better quarterback, they have the better offense, but Dallas is gonna win this game. But I promise you, if Dak starts throwing picks and if starts doing what he does in games that they should win, they won't win.
I'm taking the Jets. Not because I hate the Cowboys. I just got this gut feeling something's going to happen in this game.
I wouldn't be
Dallas
surprised.
finds a way to lose.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Something
I got
is
a
going
feeling.
to happen. Dallas is going to find a way to lose. They said Mekhi Parsons said in practice they had people triple teaming him. Something's going to happen in this Cowboys game to cause them to lose. It's going to be a Dak pick six. Is it going to be a costly turnover? Will the Jets be on a scoring drive and come back? Something is going to happen in this game. The Jets will find a way to win. And I'm going to laugh my behind off to all the Cowboys fans, and I know I might not even I might not even go crazy at big time because he's a sensible Dallas fan. But the other ones that I know, I'm going in. But I'm taking the Jets in a one-score type of game. It's either going to be 7 or 3 points. I'm telling you, something's going to happen to where this Dallas team's going to find a way to lose. So call me crazy. But I'm not the only. I know some other people who picked the Jets as well, so I don't feel bad. Call me crazy all you want to. Come back and clip this. Yes, I said the Jets is going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. We got another Sunday game. We got the Commanders and the Broncos.
Who wants to watch that? Lord, give me Denver. I really don't know. Sam Howell, I like him. There's a few things he needs to work on. I feel like with Sam Howell, as far as he'll get better as the season goes with him. This game is just like a whole lot of I don't know. Because I don't know what Russell Wilson really is, even though he's not playing very well. Actually, I might just switch it to say Commanders, because then I'm thinking about the wide receivers and how Denver's wide receivers are hurt, and how the Washington has Scary Terry in that defense. Yeah, I'll take Washington.
I also took Washington. Sam Howell, I don't think he had a terrible game. He got it done to where they won.
Yeah.
I still like Terry McLaurin. They got Brian Robinson back there running. They got the rookie Chris Gonzalez. You got Dotson on the other side. They got a good tight end. Their defense is always was solid.
That front four.
I'm going to go with Washington here. I like Washington up against Russ. I believe this is Russ' final chance at quarterback with this season. I know he still got to get accustomed to Sean Payton, but I think the Commanders get it done here and go 2-0. We got the Sunday night game. The Miami Dolphins go up in Foxborough against them New England Patriots. Who you got?
Dolphins should win. Keyword should. But I got to watch the Patriots game versus the Eagles week 1 because I was out of town and I was in a hotel watching it. The Patriots look once they could spread it around, and now that they have once the Patriots can spread it around, they look competent. They don't look like a mess anymore. And that defense, I like that the Patriots defense better than I like the Dolphins defense. So I'm picking the Dolphins, but I wouldn't be surprised if New England won.
New England's defense looked pretty good against us, against the Eagles. I want to say they all. One thing about New England, they might not have been explosive
I
offensively.
would say the Patriots.
One thing about the Patriots is they never really been explosive on offense. You know, Tom Brady was making no name receivers great. Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. These receivers we never heard of, he made great. But then you got the Cheetah and Tua Tagovailoa. Tyreek Hill, 200 plus yards last week. Tua almost 500 yards.
And he was not afraid to let people know. So
Nope.
y'all got this man talking mess now.
Sure did.
What the Miami done did to him.
He probably got tired. He probably got all the critics. He probably was tired of all the critics hating on him. So he had to silence them and say, no, I'm here. I can throw the deep ball. Tyreek Hill is a human cheat code. I don't care what nobody says. He's a human cheat code. He will catch anything, and don't let him. You can't. You can't. He can outrun you. You can't catch him. You're not going to be able to catch him. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go Miami. Miami wins this game. We got 2 Monday night games, doubleheader. This week we got the Saints going up against the Panthers. Another NFC South division matchup. Again, another division game. Who you got here?
I got the Saints. That defense is going to terrorize Bryce Young. Even though Atlanta terrorized them last week. But I think that defense is better than Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in for it. These first few games, he's really going to get welcome to the NFL.
Yep.
Especially with those defenses. But the Saints they should win this game. Derek Carr, if you don't turn the ball over, they should win this game. They have a better running situation. I like their receivers more than I like the ones over in Carolina. The defense is better. Yeah, the Saints should win this pretty favorably.
I also got the Saints. Shout out to Derek Carr for getting the win with the Saints. Everybody was giving. Well, I'm tired of the Carr slander. Derek Carr is not bad. He knows how to win games. When he was with the Raiders, he'd never seen a top offense. He's never seen a top defense. He only had the last year. He had Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, who didn't want to really play, who wasn't there available. Hunter Renfrow. He never had this top offense. The only time he had a good offense is when was that 2012. When they was on their way to the Super Bowl, and they could have beaten Tom Brady. But what happened? Derek Carr broke his damn leg. Because Donald Penn didn't want to block. That's the Raiders would have been to the Super Bowl, and I highly they could have beaten the Patriots that year. Mm-hmm. The Saints does not have a bad offense. All they was doing was a quarterback away. They got Jamal Williams, who can still run the ball, even though I know Kamara's out. Jamal Williams is still serviceable for you. You got Chris Olave on one side. You got Michael Thomas on the other side. You still got the Swiss Army knife and Taysom Hill. You don't know what he's going to do when he's back there. He can line it up. He can throw. He can catch. He can play tight end. He can play running back. Hell, put him on the defensive side. He'll play safety for you. He'll kick the ball. He's a Swiss Army knife that nobody knows what Taysom Hill's going to do when he gets in there. And their defense is not bad either. You still got Marshawn Lattimore, one of the top corners in this league. You still got Demario Davis, who's all over that field last week when Bryce Young's face, and you still got Cam Jordan, who can still get it done. I am taking the Saints here to beat the Panthers, and they're going to go on too. But Bryce Young is still getting acclimated into this NFL system. It's week 2. He's getting comfortable. The Panthers got some weapons. They got Miles Sanders. They still got Adam Thielen to help them out for the veteran receiver. J.C. Horn, he's done. Are we ever going to see J.C. Horn again playing on the defensive side for the Panthers? Was that not a good pick now that they should have got someone else? Now they're going to have to look at that defense. Brian Burns, he wants his money. Got to pay the man, or he's going to be gone. But I'm taking the Saints here. The final game of Monday night on this doubleheader is another matchup in the North, another division. We got the Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who you got?
I'll take the Clowns.
Not the Clowns.
I don't like Cleveland.
Don't like the dog pound?
No. I'll take them because Deshaun Watson looks good. Their defense looks way better than it did last year. They got, I don't know who they played. I forgot who they played last week, but they got to the quarterfinals.
Cincinnati.
And yep, they sure did put Joe Burrow on his butt a few times. So I'm taking the Browns. If the Browns can take advantage of that Steelers offensive line. This game is also a toss-up, but you know the AFC North is when they beat up on each other every year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a little bit more physical every year. But I like Pittsburgh. I like what they've done, even though they got shut down last week. Kenny Pickett looked like they just put him through the whole washing cycle then. Poor Kenny Pickett. I like what the Steelers have done this offseason. I like how they've looked minus that game, but I'm going to take the Browns.
I'm also taking Cleveland here to win this. Deshaun Watson, towards the end of last season, he was gelling with everybody, and he was getting comfortable. You let this man get comfortable, it's going to be a wrap. Now, Amari Cooper is a toss-up. I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow or not. He's having some type of injury. We'll see if Cooper plays. But they still got Donovan Peoples-Jones. Still got David Njoku. And you still got Nick Chubb as your running back. And that defense was crazy last week. Myles Garrett was, I don't know if you peeped it, but he back there doing basketball stuff.
Yes.
He's putting the ball in between his legs. I'm like, oh no, he's coming. So I'm taking Cleveland here. If they're going to be anyway like how the 49ers was against Kenny Pickett and this offensive line issues that they're having, I'm taking Cleveland. Cleveland wins this game. And yeah, that is week 2. Picks and predictions down in the book. We made it through our first show. I think we did pretty good.
I think we did pretty good.
Yes. Sure. So yeah, the first episode in the books. We'll be here every Saturday at 5 p.m. to talk some basketball and some NBA. But before we go, the comments about Coach Prime and Joe Novell. I know we didn't get into it, but your thoughts. What's gonna happen?
They finna get killed. Like, what? Why would you even go on somebody's fan podcast and say something about somebody's mama, insinuating that somebody's mama didn't raise them right?
Facts.
And I'm glad Dion launched his own sunglass company and made a
$1.2 million in one day. In a day. Don't worry, I got some in my cart. I got a pair in my cart.
I will be getting me some because I'm like, I'm gonna wear my sunglasses everywhere I go too, regardless of who's speaking to me. Because I'm like, what did that have to do with the essence of the game?
Right.
Absolutely nothing. That coach literally was just talking to hear himself talk, and he gave the other team bulletin board material, and he better be a ding dang near good coach. Which, seeing what Colorado State is, I don't know.
They were trash last year. He talked about, I've seen all the college shows earlier today. both in Colorado. Your Colorado State's going to lose recruits now because they're going to want to go to the better Colorado team.
Mm-hmm.
But Colorado by 99 million.
Like, why would you poke the bear?
Yeah. He said we were just chilling. We was trying to get the game plan. But now, the theme last week, it's personal. Y'all done made it personal again. So now Dion got everybody a pair of glasses. He going the greet midfield at the end of the game is going to be hilarious. Will Dion take his glasses and will he take his glasses and his hat off and shake his hand, or will he shake his hand and keep it moving?
I'm not even shaking his hand. I'm taking it there. I'm not even shaking his hand.
Dion's going to shake his hand because he's not that guy. But that's going to be interesting.
Another thing I wanted to say is that how Micah Parsons went on his podcast and said that the Giants were wrong for leaving Daniel Jones in there for that 40-point beating.
It was,
and I agree with him.
I agree.
What did they do that for? Character.
Tyrod Taylor could have came in.
They did that for character. There was no reason to do that.
Your starting QB is out there, and the game is way out of
hand.
Y'all not coming back. Tyrod Taylor is a backup for a reason. Put him in there. But we are going to get on out of here, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Sports Empire Network with the Hoop Dreams and TV Queens. Again, come on back next Saturday. We got some more craziness to talk about. Hopefully, Jerry don't go off on nobody. AKA Tony. We'll talk some things. But again, I appreciate y'all in the chat. So make sure y'all tune in to the Sports Empire Network. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Find us on Facebook. Like and follow the page. More stuff coming to you. I don't think we have anything else going on the network. Make sure y'all tune in every week, every morning for Mo and Chris for the Coffee and Sports Morning Show to get y'all day right. So we're going to get on out of here. Love, peace, and hair grease. A good time. Come on back next week. We got more for y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Now I got to get to knowing where the button is. Here we go.
What are we talking about? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.